Hi everybody, this is Brian from Tulip. I work on the customer solutions team here, and I wanted to talk about the hierarchy management application on the library. So within this hierarchy management application, we can essentially create any amount of hierarchies that we want nested within each other at any volume. And once we do that, we can then create, read, update, and delete items from any of these levels that we've defined. So I just wanted to walk through each one of these separately and then go through a little bit about what we might actually want to use this for within applications. So when you first start this application, you'll notice that there's no items defined, and it's up to you to create them. So for example, in this root directory that I have here, I probably want to add something, and let's say maybe I want to add a quality hierarchy. And then I also probably want to add something else, maybe like lab tests. And I can submit both of those. Just takes a second here, and then it's going to show me these two items. So I have these two paths I can take within my root directory here. So for example, if I go into quality, I can then add more items within quality. So maybe I have methods. I likely have a frequency of how many samples I need to test. And for now, maybe that's all I have. So within either of these, I can add even more just by clicking into these again. So within methods, I have no items, and you can notice here that I know exactly where I am at all times. I'm in the root directory within quality and within methods. And these breadcrumbs here will always tell me where I am. So within methods, maybe I have a visual check. I can add that. Maybe I also have a functional check. Does it work? And maybe I also have some kind of measurement to take. So now I've created all of these things. So I've started to essentially create part of my hierarchy here, and really starting to define what this quality path looks like. If at any time I want to go back and maybe change something, I can enter edit mode, click on something, say I want to change frequency to volume. I want to click the update button here, and then I can submit that, and it will just change that record that I have selected to whatever I want. So if I want to change that back, I can go ahead and do that. And then also, if I so choose, I can also delete that record. And I can confirm that here, and it will be gone from this table and from this hierarchy forever. And then what I can also do is I can click out of edit mode and just sort of go back to what I was doing here. So it's really easy to manage your hierarchy and understand where you are within it, and really define whatever you need to. Okay, so now that we've started to create this directory and define what is within our hierarchy, we also likely want to use these things within the hierarchy. Maybe we want to have somebody select from a dropdown what kind of method it is that they're using to do a certain test. So on step enter, we can have this connector function to get this list that we've just defined. So what we can do is, and there is a little bit of setup outlined in the article, to set up this table API to gain access to this connector function. But once you do that, you can just select front connector function, table API, and it's called get child list. So now the parent, I know that I want the methods for this particular dropdown. So I'm going to do static value method, and whatever your use case is, you could also certainly call by a variable. And I want to save this result. I created this new variable called method list. So I want the method list to be the output of all of these things, all of these methods that I have defined. So now I'm going to save this. Within inputs, I can then select a single select, and here is where I probably want to create some kind of output method selected. Create that. Now I can select the options and go to variable to get a new list. And within that variable, I've just created this method list variable, so I can just go ahead and select this children. So now, if I go back to my application, just a second here. So now if I come back to this application that I've just created, the one that I want to actually have my method selection, and of course this is extremely rudimentary and extremely basic, but I can see that I have my list of methods that I've just created within this dropdown, able to be selected and able to be used throughout the application.